Hey everyone, welcome to our Creating Momentum series. I am so excited to get to be here with you today. I'm going to give everybody just a couple of minutes to hop in here with us. So make sure that you're tagging your team members, your sidelines, so everyone knows and they don't miss this series. For those of you that have been with us for the last couple of weeks, you know this is week 3 in this series. Now, I know that some of you are probably sitting here today thinking, what in the world is going on with Pamela? She has on blue-red hydromats. So just for the sake of the fact that this may never happen again, because you guys know I am a neutral lip color girl, I think you need to tag everyone you know to get them in here today to make sure they don't miss this. Again, this could be a once-in-a-lifetime thing to see me in red lip color. Okay, so I've already got people messaging me. This is so fun. So let's do something fun today. While we're waiting for everyone to log in, go ahead, you guys, throw in the comments, put your selfie of your favorite hydromat lip color. I know a lot of you are blending the colors together, which is awesome. Yesterday, I actually blended this, the Nude Honey and the Bella together. Again, you guys know I'm super neutral in my makeup colors, except for today. And that has turned out to be my favorite blend of the two colors together. So you guys make sure you're popping a picture in here just to give everyone else some ideas of how to blend these and really have fun with this amazing new product. So over the last couple of weeks, here's what we've been doing in Creating Momentum. We kicked all of this off talking about your vision for your business, what you really want from this business. It's important to establish that first. It's also super important, guys, to help the people that you're bringing into the business figure out what they want also. So these are some of the things that we're going to talk about over the next few weeks together, that this series is not just great for you and your own personal business, but what you're doing to take this into your team and really coach and mentor the people that you're bringing into this business. Okay, so then last week we talked about being coachable, and Tracy was on here sharing with you. Being coachable, being open to new ideas, but also taking that next step, that next layer of accountability and getting a pacing partner. And so one of the great tools that she shared with you all, it's not only posted here in the Global Distributor Group, but she also put that into the guides for you that's with this series. So if you haven't checked out guides yet, just know that everything that has happened so far in Creating Momentum, including today, will pop in there also. That's going to be there for you in guides so you don't miss anything. I'm with you, Darcy. It does remind me also of sheer red. Love that color. Okay, so where we are today is we're going to talk about managing your time and your schedule. And so one of the things that I want you to know is that when I personally learned to do this years ago, guys, I'm almost 33 years in this industry. And so early in my direct selling days, when I learned to really pay attention to how I was spending my time, get specific times, and really treat this business like a business, right? That I had to show up every day and be consistent. That was one of the biggest helps in my business. In fact, I would say that pretty much moves to the top of the chart when it comes to being successful in this industry. And so one of the things that I had to discover was that if I didn't manage my time, that someone or something else would. And we all know how this goes, especially when we're working from home, that people think our time is just available. And I would have teachers from school calling me, wanting me to volunteer for all of the things at the school because my son, you know, I was a single mom for a long time. And they wanted me to volunteer because, again, they thought because I was at home that I could just do whatever needed to be done. And so I had to really learn early on to start protecting my schedule, protecting my calendar. Not that I couldn't go do some of those things, but again, it was I don't always have to say yes to everything. So no matter who you are, no matter what your circumstances are, it could be another job, it could be your family, it could be a significant other, your spouse, all of the things. People are going to be demanding of your time, asking for your time. Again, we're going to have to learn to set boundaries and learn how to really make our business work around all of the other things in our life. So I want to share a quick story with you, because one of the things I love to do is figure out how you and I are going to connect on these topics. So dial way, way back in my early direct selling days when I was a single mom and my son was young. And it was time for him to start going to preschool, which was at that point only 2 days a week. And then pre-K was 3 days a week. And then of course by kindergarten, he was there every single morning. And so my schedule started to shift into being able to do things a little bit differently with my time. So one of the things that I decided to commit to when he started to school was going back to the gym and starting to get back in shape. And so my best bet to get that done was taking him to school, and then before I ever went back home, because it was going to be easy to talk myself out of going to the gym, right? So before I went home, I went straight to the gym, and while I was at the gym, I went ahead and showered, got my makeup on, got dressed for my work day, so that way when I walked in my back door of my home, I had 2 things checked off the list. I got him to school, I get home, I'm ready for my work day, I come in the back door, and the plan is I'm going to go straight to my office and I'm going to sit down and I'm going to start working on my direct selling business. Well, as you know, things don't always go that way when we work from home. And so I would come in the back door and I could immediately see into my son's bedroom. And because he and I were really big on reading at night, we would sit in his bed together and read books. Usually had a snack. So when I peeked in there, I could see, oh, I forgot to pick up the plate and the cup from the snacks last night. So I walk into his room, I pick everything up. While I'm in there, I see, as boys do, there's some socks and underwear on the floor. So I grab those, I go back into the kitchen. I'm going to put the dishes in the dishwasher. Except for when I opened the dishwasher, I realized I never unloaded it from the night before. So I lay everything down, unload the dishwasher, put the dirty ones in, and off to the laundry room I go with the dirty clothes. I get in there and I realize when I open the washing machine that there's still wet clothes in there that I didn't move from the night before. So I open the dryer to put the wet clothes in, except for the dryer is full of clean clothes that are dry. So I take those out, put the wet ones in. I got to go fold the laundry, put the dirty ones in, right? And then as I start back through the house, after I've got the laundry done and everything picked up, I start through there and I realize that, you know what, it's been a few days since I've run the vacuum. So probably before I get my work day started, I better hop in there and get that done. And then, I've got to dust the ficus tree. The toilets haven't been scrubbed for a bit. And then I finally get to my office and then it's almost lunchtime. Well, I'm hungry, clearly, because I've been in a hurry. So I stop to eat lunch. And then before I know it, it's time to go pick up my son. Now, you guys get the picture, right? It's so easy to get distracted, isn't it? And sometimes it's just kind of that moment of honesty that we have to have with ourselves, that even with the best intentions, right? I'm getting up early. I've got my son to school. I've worked out. I'm taking better care of myself. I'm ready for the day. And there's all these things. And now in my mind, ladies, and I don't know if you've ever done this, I thought in order to be the best mom and the best person that was, managing our home, that all of these things had to be done for me to feel good about myself, to be prepared for my work day. But the reality of what was happening was another day would go by, another week, another month, another quarter, another year. So you guys give me a high five in the comments if this has ever felt like the way that your days have been going with trying to work from home. Whether it's the house, the kids, all the different tasks that we have to do, it's all of those things on the balance wheel that we're trying to fit in. It's a challenge. And it's better to come into this today and just say, this has been a challenge for me, and now I am ready for some solutions. So I see several of you, Ashley, Shauna, Laura, Melanie, you guys, I love the transparency, because when we can admit that there is an area where we are feeling challenged. And just like Tracy talked about last week, we've got to be willing to be accountable and be coachable, that there might be some things that we need to change and that we need to tweak about what we're doing. Here we are today to figure out this piece. Lori, I see you. Jennifer, you guys, I see lots of everybody. High fives, because this is the reality for most people. All right, so what are we going to do about this? Well, here's the one thing. I found this quote. I love this. I don't even know who wrote this, but it says productivity is never an accident. It is always the result of a commitment to excellence, intelligent planning, which was one of my favorite phrases, and focused effort. So the first step that we want to take today is figuring out when we're actually available to work our Synergence business. We have to somehow figure out where we're going to fit everything in order to truly be productive. And as you guys know, this is not a new topic. If you've ever heard me train, if you've heard Joni train, our certified affiliate trainers, our sales team, that we are all huge fans of this incredible tool called the Essential Weekly Calendar and Goal Sheet. And why do we use this? Well, we're going to walk through this today. And if you don't have this tool, don't worry. I'm going to put this here for you in the guides. I'm going to put it in the files tab at the top. But just in case you want it right now, you can go under resources, under training and forms in your distributor back office and find this. So again, I'm going to put this here for you. So let's take a look at how this calendar works and how you can make this work for your benefit, in addition to helping other people that you bring into this business. And so with the Essential Calendar, one of the things that you've heard us speak about, if you're newer to the business, this is going to be a brand new topic for you today. What we like to do is have you go through the Essential Calendar and put X's through all of the times during this is like a week at a glance, put X's through when you're not available. Because what that reveals is when you're actually available to work your business or when you have free time. Because truth is, we know that there's other things that we've got to fit in other than our Synergence career. And what happens is when you do this and you put X's through when you're not available and you put the circles or the bubbles around those blocks of time when you are available, this is going to give you a more realistic picture of your availability for your Synergence business. What's going to fit into those bubbles, those circles? I made a list. Guys, this is going to be your new business activity where we want to focus today. And you're going to be fitting in time to call or text or message brand new prospects or referrals. This is going to be the time when you're available that we're going to fit in when you're actually meeting with people. If you're doing demos, if you're doing one-on-ones, if you're doing Zoom parties, maybe you're doing everything through Facebook parties or Messenger parties, whatever that looks like, we're trying to find those blocks of time, which are maybe 2 to 3 hours, where we can fit in some quality new business acquisition into your business. And so I want to give you a quick example of how this can look and how you may be feeling when we talk about the calendar. I know that for some of you, when we start talking about Xing out when you're not available and putting the bubbles around when you are, there sometimes is that little feeling in our throat, right? That little bit of an anxious feeling that we're not really sure that we have enough time to successfully build a business here at Synergence. So if that's the case and that's how you're feeling, I want to tell you about a lady. I'm going to call her Kathy just because I don't want to reveal her name. Years ago, in fact, it was back in, this would have been 2019, and I was over in the Main Street office in Sapulpa in my Synergence office. And I had a lady that wanted to come and meet with me because she was feeling like when we talked about the Essential Calendar, that it didn't apply to her and it wasn't going to work for her because she had a full-time job. She still had 3 kids at home who no one could drive, right? So she's taking them everywhere. She's the mom taxi. Her husband has 2 or 3 days a week where he's working late. And she's thinking, this isn't going to work for me. And so I said, Kathy, just come by the office. Let's find 30 minutes to chat about this, map some things out, maybe from a different perspective, and let's take a look. So I want you to know that even though these are a little bit ruffled on the edges because I've carried them now for 4 years, this is what we mapped out that day when Kathy came in. Now, I want you to hear me today when I say this is not just for your business. This is a teaching moment. So many people feel like Kathy did that day. They feel like because they work another full-time job, they feel like because they have all these responsibilities with kids, that this business might not work for them. And what happens when people feel like this business can't work for them? Do you guys know what they do? They quit right before we take time to help them figure this out. So Kathy came in, and I know you guys can probably see this, but don't worry, I'm going to put a screenshot of this in the comments so you guys can relate with where Kathy was that day. So we went through and we put X's through. We know that Kathy works from 8 to 1. She took an hour break for lunch and went back into her office from 2 to 5. So we know that those are times when Kathy is not available. We also went through and marked out Friday night is date night with hubby. Saturday evening, they do family night. On Saturday mornings, 2 of her 3 kids had soccer. Sunday morning is church. And then Sunday afternoon is another time that they specifically block off time to have quality family time with their kids. So what we did was we went through and we now know that Kathy on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday has her evenings, right? That she's not working. So she went ahead and put circles around those. We put circles around her lunch times. Another incredible opportunity of opening up time for our business. And then Saturday mornings, Sunday mornings, there was some open time again, and then Saturday afternoon and Sunday afternoon. So we've got several bubbles. So let's start filling those in. That's the next step. What we decided together was over her lunch times, she could take her lunch to work with her. It takes about 10, 15 minutes to eat. And then she could utilize the rest of that time. And she committed that day to make 3 phone calls during her lunchtime. Because in our business, we have to start doing that wowing, that prospecting, that booking of activity, and start following the pillars of our business. And so Kathy was going to do that over her lunchtimes. Perfect, uninterrupted time. She said, literally, I'm going to go sit in my car, eat my lunch, and make some phone calls. It'll give me a break from everybody at the office also. And then we have 4 evenings. We had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But then there's other layers, right? Wednesday evening, her kids all have youth activities at their church. And like I mentioned before, Kathy's the mom taxi, right? So what Kathy decided was she had a 30-minute drive to get her kids to where they went to youth group on Wednesday nights. And it was an hour, and I think it was an hour and a half that she was there, or she could drive back home. But then she had to go pick the kids back up. So she decided on Wednesday nights, while the kids were in youth group, she would take her day planner or her tablet, whatever you guys use, right? It's the same theory. And she would take her call list and she would start calling and messaging people to book additional appointments. In the future, as she's getting new customers, it's a great time to do follow-up. This is called multitasking. And one of the things that we have a tendency to do, if it's like me, guys, we all do this. When I have downtime, am I scrolling? Because a lot of times we're scrolling 4 or 5 hours a day when we actually could be utilizing that time to pick up the phone and start texting, messaging, or even better yet, calling, doing voice texts to connect with people. So that freed up for her an hour and a half to utilize that time while the kids were inside. Again, she's going to sit in her car, wait for the kids, and utilize that time for business. So we decided Tuesdays and Thursday nights would be her largest blocks of time First order of business in those two is getting her business launches on the calendar. What does a business launch mean if you're newer here? That just means we've got to let people know that the doors are open for your brand new business. That's it. It's like a ribbon cutting ceremony, a grand opening, letting people know what you are doing and that you have long-lasting cosmetics, amazing delivery of results type skincare products. All of those things, those are times when you can fill with that income producing activity and do demos. She also freed up some time over here on Saturday afternoon. She actually called me back, so we added this in, that hubby said, you know what? If you're committed to do this, then I'm committed to help you on Saturday afternoons. I'll keep the kids for a bit. We'll go do something fun, have some dad time, and that'll give you another time block to do demos. But truth is, over here on Monday night, I know you guys can't read this, but don't worry, I'm going to put it in the comments. Kathy decided at some point during the week, someone has to run the errands, go get some groceries, and do some of the things. So Monday night, even though there was some time available, reality tells us as women, as moms, right, as the keeper of the home, there's some other stuff that we've got to do. Now, cleaning the house, Kathy decided she's going to get up an hour early on Saturday mornings and Sunday mornings and utilize that time. Well, the truth is, ladies, we could talk about this all day long because the scenario is going to look different for every single person. But the reality is we have to be willing to map it out, to see when we're available, get everything plugged in that's non-negotiable, and figure out when we're going to build our business. And so having a calendar, having a plan in place for your business is going to help you know what to expect from your business. So many people come to the table and they say, you know, gosh, I want to make, Crown Princess, or I want to make $10,000 a month by the end of July. Well, those are incredible goals. But the first place we have to visit is the calendar. We have to see when you're available, what all we can plug in order to realistically back up the goals that we have set for our business. So this is huge. Years ago, when I was doing certification for professional sales coaching, one of the men that I trained under, his name was Roy Vaden. If you haven't read any of his books, he's great on time management. And one of the things that he said was we have to be willing to inspect what's going on in our business in order to know what to expect from our business. So again, ladies, hear me today. We've got to take just a few minutes. That meeting with Kathy only took about 15 minutes of our time to map that out. Perfect opportunity with your pacing partner that you picked up last week from Tracy's training. Get together with your pacing partner and do this calendar. Get it mapped out for a week so you know when to commit. Now, a really great tool that you're going to see pop in here today in the guides is I have taken the Sin Essential Calendar and I have put it into a fillable PDF. So just because you're not with someone physically, like I was Kathy that day, it doesn't mean you're not going to be able to do this with your team or with your pacing partner, because you're going to be able to fill it out online now. In fact, every form that we talk about today for managing your time and getting that structure for your business is going to be popped in here today in fillable PDFs. All right, so we're going to make this user-friendly to support your online and virtual pieces of your business. All right, so let's move on just a second. The second thing that we want to do is overbook our calendar. So one of the things that we'll find, and you guys, if you've been here for a bit, you've heard Joni teach to this also, is that it's always good to book at least twice as much activity as you actually want to have if you're pacing out the results that you want to see in your business, because people will cancel. They will postpone. So if you're setting appointments for one-on-ones and that's how you're filling those blocks of time that are available, again, overbook those. In fact, a lot of times, ladies, I would just book 2 at once, knowing that one person probably wouldn't show. And if they both showed, then it became a small party, right? So again, it's just better to overbook, and then you don't wind up being disappointed and you keep your calendar full. Okay, so let's talk about the business activity that you want to fill in when we're talking about these bubbles or these circles on your calendar. What's going to yield the greatest results in your business? Well, we want to learn to focus on new business activity. It's going to be what drives growth. Now, keep in mind, you also want to plug in time for following up with your customers, following up with your team members, doing team trainings. That's going to be about 20% of your time, right? Packaging up orders, doing all of those things maintain your business. But if you truly want to see growth, the 4 key things that need to be plugged into your calendar all the time, ladies, all the time, are the wow, book, demo, and direct. So let's talk about what each of those things mean, because if you're newer to the business, you may not understand what those 4 words are when it comes to how we use those at Synergence. So in your business time, we call this your Cine time in those bubbles and circles. New business activity, managing your time correctly, wowing. This is talking to brand new people about your business and your products. If you want to put a word in there, right, it's just prospecting. So if you don't understand wowing, basically that means, oh, wow, that lip color doesn't come off when I rub my lips. That's where the whole fun got started, using that word. But wowing people with who we are and what we have just means prospecting to get brand new business, talking to people that you've never talked to before, showing them who we are and what we have. Booking. The second pillar of our business is scheduling activity, things like Cineblends to work on getting your MUA or your Elite MUA or your Cineskin profiling, and doing demos. A demo could be a group of people. A demo could be one-on-one when you're at Starbucks with someone doing products on the back of their hand, doing a handshake. Maybe you're doing your events through virtual events, things like Zooms. Right? Maybe you're doing Facebook parties or messenger parties. How many of those are you going to put on your calendar? Because booking allows you to be in front of people in some way, even if it's just samples and you're booking out sample drop-offs or sample mailings. Booking activity means that you are booking opportunities for people to experience our product and our business and find out who we are. Demoing is actually allowing people to have a product experience. Okay, so the wow is the prospecting, booking is getting the activity, whatever the activity is on your calendar. Demoing is the product experience, whether it's in person, through samples, through Zoom, and you've mailed things out for people to try. And then directing is the 4th pillar, the wow, book, demo, and direct. Directing, guys, is simply offering people the 3 options. We call this the Synergence choice, and you allow people to decide where they fit best. This means when I'm talking to you about my product, because I've filled my calendar with times to meet with people and allow them to have a product experience, I'm in sales, ladies, so I got to close the deal. And my closing every single time, whether I'm with 1 person or 50 people, it doesn't matter. I'm going to say, now that we know how much you love these products, I know you want to take everything home with you or get it delivered to your door. We've got 3 different options of how to get those products into your hand. And I offer them the option to be my customer, my Kiss and Tell preferred customer, or join my team and do what I do and be a distributor. We're going to talk about that more in the weeks to come. But the more I do of the wow, book, demo, and direct, because it's not about just finding my available time. Ladies, it's about what I'm putting in to the activity, what the activity I'm plugging in to that available time. It is crucial. So let's talk about a few more tips when it comes to managing your time. One of the things I like to do, and I highly encourage you to do this, is create the daily, weekly, and monthly plan for your business. Very specific activity. So get the calendar done. Plug into those bubbles, into those circles, specifically what you're going to do in that time. And then set a specific time of day, amount of time that you're going to spend on each activity, and be accountable, whether it's to yourself or your pacing partner, or maybe it's your sponsor or your upline or a sideline. Be accountable to someone for how you're spending your time. use the calendar, use the planner in order to keep good records. We're going to talk about a couple of other forms for you to do tracking on, but keep good records of what you're doing, ladies, because otherwise you're never going to know where you need to improve or where you need to spend more time in order to reach the goals in your business. I want you to always be aware of the deadlines that are happening within our business. So what are the forms that are going to back this up? Again, I'm going to be putting these into guides for you today. In order to set your goals, which is what we worked on a couple of weeks ago together, then we're going to put into the guides today the new distributor downline. This is the goal setting sheet. So whether you're new, even though it's called the new distributor goal setting sheet, whether you're new or you've been here for 20 years, this is an incredible sheet to get your goals set for what you want from your business. Okay, so this covers several things, even recognition programs. Then last week, what Tracy put in here for you is the pacing partner agreement. You want to be accountable for what you're willing to do. So that's the next thing that you want to look for in the guides. Then also in the guides, you're going to see how to do your daily, weekly, and monthly planning. And that's in 2 different sheets. Of course, your calendar, your weekly calendar to have a visible representation of your time that's available. There's a weekly summary sheet. And this is such an incredible tool to track what's happening. Again, go back to the fact that if we're not willing to inspect what's happening in our business, we will never know what to expect from it. And it is so great to see this on paper, what the activity that you're doing is actually providing for your business. What's the volume that it's bringing in? How much are you getting in sales? How many people decided to take option 3 and join your business? How many kiss and tell customers did you gain? How many new customers did you get? Guys, this is such an incredible sense of accomplishment to see it in writing. So you have the weekly summary sheet to track all of that. And then, of course, being aware of the deadlines that we have as far as different recognition programs that we have here at Synergence for you. Go back to that downline goal setting sheet. This is just another great way to track all of the volume that you need for and the recruiting that you need for most of our recognition programs. But there's another thing that I want to talk to you about today when it comes to time management before we wrap this up today. We've got to learn to say no. I mentioned this before, is that we can't say yes to everything outside of our Synergence business, or we literally never get to it. But there's some other things that we do that I mentioned in my story. All of the toilet scrubbing, all of the dishes, the laundry, all of that stuff. There are some things in our life that we can delegate. One of the greatest things I ever did when it came to time management was getting someone to come in and help me clean my house. Now, you might be sitting here today thinking, well, that sounds great, Pamela, but I'm just going to tell you straight up, first of all, I can't afford it. And my husband is going to poo-poo the whole idea of me getting someone to clean my house because he too is going to say, we are barely stretching to cover groceries and fuel and our home expenses. We cannot afford to get someone to clean. So I want to tell you, before I could afford it, I got one. I got someone from my church. There were some college girls that I knew, and they were willing to come in and help me clean. It may not have been complete perfection, but it got the high level things done and off of my plate. Now, here's the trick. When we're talking about time management and you get someone to help you while they're helping you, it doesn't mean you go in and sit down at the television and watch The Young and the Restless. It doesn't mean that. It means that while they're helping you, you go put more effort into new business activity in your business. Because the goal of this entire series is to create momentum in your business, is to get your business moving. So we're trying to brainstorm this out and figure out how to make that happen. Don't focus on unimportant details. Ladies, I remember feeling so completely bent out of shape because I would worry about what cheese I was going to serve if I was having people come over to my house for a demo. Don't worry about the cheese. They're not worried about the cheese. They are, however, looking for results with amazing products. And so we've got to stay focused on what's important to really maximize our time. And then also we want to focus on making things the most productive. And the way to do that is being willing to sometimes go into a room, block out distractions, and really make use of our time, even if You only get to grab 15 minutes while the kids are down for a nap. I get it. I remember those days. So it's so important for you to realize that this is a business. And the more we treat it like a business, track it like it's a business, manage our time like it's a business, then the most miraculous thing happens. This starts paying us like a business. And I know that not just myself, your entire sales team, your entire corporate team here, we are backing you up to help you figure out how to get this to pay you like a business when you make the decisions to really prioritize your time, manage your time, be accountable, focus on your why, because now we're going to circle back, and starting next week, we're going to start talking about the activities. Next week is income producing activity. What does that look like? There is a long list of things that you can do to drive brand new business into your calendar. Then we're going to talk about recruiting and onboarding and leadership and all of the layers of what it's going to take to help you be successful here. So as we wrap this up today, I want to encourage you, get into the guides. Give me just about 15 minutes to post all of these. We're going to get all of these forms up for you. Get with that pacing partner that you chose last week, and let's lock arms and be accountable to each other for what's happening. Not just be accountable, but to be there as a support tool, because that's one of the biggest reasons we came into this business outside of making money, was building those relationships. Get 4 to 6 hours of income producing activity plugged into that calendar. Guys, I'm telling you, 4 to 6 hours, even if it's in 15-minute increments, sometimes 5 when all those kids are little, right? 5 minutes is all we get. Utilize that time to really be productive, because it's all about getting the calendar of when you're available, but plugging in the right activities. So I just want to tell you guys a huge thank you for engaging here with us today. I am so grateful that part of your time management was that you chose to invest some of it here today, and that we're here to support you. Make sure that you're putting any of your questions into the comments. We're going to take the link from this video and we're going to go over and post it into the event so it's super easy to find. It will also be in guides, because the one thing we want to do is make this as easy as we possibly can for you to follow what's happening here for your business. So we'll see you guys right back here next week for Creating Momentum. Amy's going to be hopping in here to talk about income producing activity, and we'll see you guys right back here next Wednesday.